Hello everyone. Now you know I am decorating for my son and daughter-in-law's baby shower, and last week I showed you how I made this tiered cupcake stand, dessert stand. Well, today I want to show you how I'm making other decorations. I'm making blocks to decorate around the table and around other places in the house. So I made these custom blocks, and I want to show you how I made some really cool blocks to go along with the theme. I'm doing a jungle theme, but these will also be used as educational tools. They can keep these and use these to help the child learn how to spell and how to create words. So let's get going with this, and I'll show you how to make some other custom blocks. So let's get started. It's a little later than Sunday. I wanted to post a video every Sunday. We had a family dinner, so that drew me off. So this is a little late, but I'm going to try to get back on schedule. So first we're going to start off with making the little decorations to go around my tiered cupcake stand. So I want to make little blocks that have different sayings on them to go around my tiered stands. And to make this, I'm using some little blocks that I found at Dollar Tree. This is a pack that has 36 tiny little blocks, and I think this will be perfect for decorating a tier. I'm also going to use these large blocks around the table. And guess what? At Dollar Tree, I was surprised to find metallic acrylic paint. So I am going to be using metallic blue and green. And the first thing I'm going to do is coat the blocks with a color. I'm going to cover the entire block with either blue or green. And I'm just doing a light coat because I want the wood grain to show through. And right now I'm using a sponge brush because I think that works a little better. And I painted as many pieces as I needed. I'm going to have words on here. I think I'm going to have sweet baby love, and for the other tier I'll have baby sweet treats. And while I still have the paint out, I'm going to also paint my big blocks. Now I ordered these from Amazon, and these are 2-inch blocks. And I'm going to use these for decorating and making other blocks. I would like to do the whole alphabet with this. So in addition to the 30, I ordered 2 sets of 6 blocks so that I could do other words also. And I just sponged on a light metallic tint of blue and green to all of my large blocks also. Okay, so now that I have the base colors on all my blocks, I'm going to start working on my decorations for my tiers, the little blocks. And for this, I'm just going to hand paint the letters on my blocks. I found this acrylic paint at Dollar Tree also. It's not metallic, it's just a regular acrylic paint. And I'm going to use that to paint little letters on these blocks. And I am going to be using a tiny brush. And just really carefully hand draw some letters on. Now, if you don't want to paint, you can find small stencils or small stickers that you could put on. But you'll have to buy a lot of them because I'm going to paint an S on each side of this. I'm going to have a letter everywhere except the top and the bottom. Oh, and the back I'll leave clear because I'm going to attach the back to a ribbon. But I'm just carefully painting on little S's for the word sweet. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I actually like most of my pieces to be kind of homemade and rustic looking. I think it gives it a more natural, organic look. So I finished painting my little sayings, sweet baby love and baby sweet treats. And I started painting letters on some of the big blocks because I want to have letters on the table around the tier. So while I have the white paint out, I am going to paint the baby's name on these blocks. They named the baby Emmett. So I'm going to put the baby's name on the table. So the shower will also be like a little reveal. Everything will be in blue and green, so you know it's a boy, and you'll know the baby's name when you see it on the table. I'm also going to have the word baby at the top of the name in building block style, so it'll read baby Emmett. So this is the B block I'm painting for baby. What I'm also doing, just to make these a little bit neater, after I painted the thick letters, I'm going over it with a thin line on the outside and the inside of the letter just to define it more. The white paint is kind of transparent, but this outline will make it pop out more and be a little more three-dimensional. And like I said, if you don't want to paint these by hand, you could always use stencils. I have a stencil right there. So as you can see, I decided not to use it. But these are custom blocks, so you can do whatever you want. Oh, and for the large blocks, I decided to put the letters on the top also. Now I'm going to attach my little words to the tiers that I created, and to do that I'm going to use a sheer ribbon. I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon about 18 inches long and use a couple of dots of hot glue to attach it to the base of the top tier. And I want the bow, I want to tie a bow to it, so I want it to be on one side. I'm going to put it on the left side. So I want to make sure there's an even amount of ribbon on the ends, and I'm going to take a dot of glue and glue it right where I'm going to tie on one end, and then put another dot maybe a few inches away, just tiny dots of glue. And I want to try to make sure that maybe the blocks will be covering this, because I'm going to glue the blocks over this ribbon. I'm using hot glue on the ribbon because I can easily take the ribbon off when I'm finished using this as a baby shower piece, because I want to be able to use this for other events that I might have. So I have a few pieces of hot glue. Hot glue on glass is not permanent, so you can pull it off when you're ready to take it off. It's not a permanent glue, at least for glass. So I'm going to tie a little bow right here just to make it look pretty, more decorative. And then I want to sort of evenly space my letters around so that they go all around, but an equal amount of space in between each. So I'm going to place these here so I know where to glue them. And I'll put a drop of hot glue where I want it to go, or on the back of the letter, and just stick it to the ribbon. And it'll look like a little ribbon bracelet around each tier. So for each tier I alternated where the bow was, left and right, and I glued my letters down. This tier I have Sweet Baby Love, and this one Baby Sweet Treats. Since I'm going to have a sparkly vase next to my table, I decided to add these little gems right at the top of each letter, just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. And this is what they look like on a table with the blocks. I love this. Everything has a nice subtle baby blue and green pastel fun look. And like I said, you can customize these blocks any way you want. You can get real artsy with it. I'm going to add on a background. I'm going to do some fun blocks and just swivel some colors in here. Make a nice little artsy background. And like I said, you don't have to paint the letters on. I found a ton of stickers and stencils at Dollar Tree that you could use for this. Just make sure the size is small enough to fit on the block. And I think I'm going to try this sparkly silver. Now the stickers have a sticky back, adhesive on the back, but I'm just going to use a little glue to make sure it sticks down. And this is pretty cool. A nice, neat, sparkly letter on an artsy background. On the next side, I'll try a different letter. See what that looks like. Let's try the stencil on this one. You know what? I really like the way it looks as a relief to have that color showing through and maybe have the background white. Let's try that. So I'm just going to use the cutout and I'm going to put a few pieces of tape on the back of it just to stick it down without tearing the paint up. And I'm going to sponge some white metallic paint over it. While that's drying, I'll see what it looks like the other way. Let's try this one in blue, metallic blue. See how this turned out. Oh, I definitely like this one better, with the color showing through the letters. That's nice. Anyway, you could get really creative with these. You could do a collage of letters on here. And speaking of collages, I'm going to show you another way to make really custom blocks. So I'm having a jungle theme for my shower, and I found this image that I really like the style of. This is a stock image, and I wanted to use it on my blocks. I need 26 letters, and there were only a couple of images in this style. So I decided to use AI to help me draw the rest of them out. So I uploaded this image to a program called Midjourney, and for each letter I described exactly what I wanted. For instance, I would say illustrate a deer next to the D, and I would use a link to say do this in the same style as the image I uploaded. And in a matter of seconds, it would generate options for me to choose from. I could download that, and I was able to generate custom images for each letter of the alphabet. I was even able to generate a custom image for my future grandson. So now that I have all my alphabet jungle animal images created, I'm going to take them into InDesign, which is a layout program that I use to lay out each side of the block. Now, you can use something like Canva or a free program to do this, but my blocks are 2 inches in size, and I want the background of the block blue or green to show through. So this outside line represents the block and the inside is the image. I want there to be a space around the image so that I could see those colors, so it'll go along with my theme. So anyway, I think I'm going to use a gradation at the bottom here so that it gradates into the color of the block. I'm going to alternate the alphabets blue and green. And I'll just add some text on top of here. So I'll just type the name of the animal so that my son or daughter-in-law could say, this is the letter A, and A is for aardvark. So I think on 2 sides of the block, I'll have the image of the animal and the letter. and on two sides I'll have the letter A itself by itself. So I'm just going to remove this background and start laying out the different sides. There are 6 sides, so I think on one side I'm going to have the alphabet with the animal print covering the whole block. So I just blew up the close-up of the animal, the aardvark skin, and so that there's a little pattern that's over the letter A. And this is how I have everything laid out. I decided to make one side a small letter and the other side a capital letter, and for each block there will be 6 sides. So this is what it looks like, and I think this will work really well. There's a character with the letter, there's a pattern with a small letter, and then there's a large capital letter for each. Laid out so they're butted right up against each other, so it'll be easy for me to cut these out. Oh, and of course I want to do an extra E to make another custom block for Emmett. And so I'm just going to duplicate this page and change the E for elephant to E for Emmett, so that my grandson will have his own custom block. So I printed out the sheets of the alphabet set, and I'm going to cut these out with an X-Acto knife. I'm starting with the center lines, and I'm going to start from the top of the sheet just above the top line and just go right below the bottom line. I don't want to cut the page completely apart. I want to keep everything together while I'm cutting this. So I'm cutting sort of inside the page. So I'm going to do my horizontal lines inside first. And when you get to the outside line, you want to do this very slowly and very carefully, because the pieces will start coming apart. And when you're finished, you can just lift the outside border off, and you'll have your little cards to go on your blocks. And now I'm just going to start stacking these in groups of each letter. And now I'm ready to attach these to my blocks. So what I'm going to do is decoupage these pieces onto the blocks, and I'm using Mod Podge for this. So I'm starting with a blue block because I'm starting with the letter A for aardvark, and that is blue. And I'm going to paint on a good bit of Mod Podge on one side of this block. I'm starting with the smoothest side. Some of the sides are rough, but I want the picture to be nice and smooth. So I'm going to put a nice bit on, and then just center that first image right in the middle of the block. I want to make sure the border around it is pretty even. And with the gradation, it seems to sort of blend in. So I am going to do the other side. Before I put the Mod Podge on top of the image, I'm just going to stick the other one down that's on the opposite side of the first image. Then I'll do the small A, each on opposite sides of each other. Then I'm going to go around and put Mod Podge all over the tops of these pieces. I'm going to put the capital A at the top and the bottom, but instead of doing that right now, I'm going to let this dry first so that I could sit the bottom portion down on the surface without it sticking to anything. So I just went through and did the same with each letter, alternating blue and green. And after all the letters on the side pieces were dry, I came back to decoupage the capital letters on the tops and the bottoms of each block. Now I can sit those on the side and let the tops and bottoms dry. And after they're dry, this is what my alphabet blocks look like. This is my little custom word for Emmett. Has E on the top, a little Emmett on both sides, and a lowercase e on either side. So with this block, you can talk about the letter. You can say what it stands for. You have the capital and the lowercase letter. So it's an all-in-one purpose learning tool. Oh, and another idea is you could put the phonetic sound on, maybe on the bottom. But this is the other E. I did an E for elephant. And it's also a good idea to have extra letters, extra vowels, extra letters like D's and B's. Letters that may be repeated in one word. So along with being able to use these blocks to build things with, you can use it to learn the alphabet and to spell out words. And the great thing about having these pictures on here is you could use this to make up a story to help you to learn the spelling of the word. I was a little dyslexic in school, so the things that helped me to learn the spelling or any material that I needed to learn was to come up with a story for it. I had to draw everything out, and this is how I taught my kids, which made things so much easier. So with the pictures on here, what you could do is come up with a story using the pictures. Say, for instance, you wanted to learn the word leg. You can make up a story that went something like, there once was a lion whose name began with the letter L. He was limping through the forest because his leg hurt really bad. He ran across a boy whose name started with an E. His name was Emmett, and he wanted to help. Emmett said, "What's wrong, lion?" And the lion said, "My leg hurts really bad. I don't know why." So E for Emmett said, "I have the perfect friend for you who can help you with your leg. I'm meeting him right now." Just then, Dr. G for Giraffe came up to Emmett and said, "What's going on here?" So Emmett said, "Dr. G, I need your help. We need to help Mr. Lion." Dr. G looked over and saw that there was a long splinter in the lion's leg. So he reached over with his teeth and he pulled out the long splinter, and Mr. Lion was so happy. He said, "Thank you so much. I am a happy L for lion, thanks to you, E for Emmett, and Dr. G for giraffe. You saved my leg." So I know that's a silly story, but something silly like that your child will remember. And if you use the word in the story and use the letters in the story and also repeat the letters at the end, it will really help your child to remember how to spell the word. So there you have it, a few different ways you could make your own custom blocks, and they can be great for decorating, for playing and building blocks, and they could be a great, awesome learning tool. So be creative and you can come up with your own custom block design. See you in the next video. Want more detailed instructions on some of these projects? On my Etsy store, for just a few dollars, you can get instant digital downloads of full-color step-by-step instructions with templates for some of your favorite projects. And check out my Amazon page, where you can pick up my Book of Elegant Home Crafts, Volume 1, with all your favorite projects together in one big, beautiful, colored step-by-step instruction book. You can also get separate e-project booklets and full-color printed project booklets, all on my Amazon page. You'll also see all my favorite crafting tools and supplies seen on this show, and you can add them all to your cart for for the one-click, fast, and easy shopping delivery convenience of Amazon. On social media, follow me at Your House of Home and Your House of Home TV. Like, share, subscribe, and your support is so appreciated.